Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Resolve Future Gaming. We just put up a video yesterday, my son and I, just doing an intro to water cooling. We did a 2080 Ti build with a AMD Threadripper PC, CPU. It's right over here. I think it turned out pretty well. We spent almost $9,000 retail value, it looks like, on this thing. Um, it looks pretty good. But I wanted to come back and kind of share some more about water cooling, see if we can go into doing some GPU water cooling. So we have to hook up little more complex loop. Um, and I noticed I still don't have anything here in the storage like we used to during the beta. So I'm assuming we have to unlock that stuff when we purchase it, probably through the story mode. So at some point we'll do some videos of the new story stuff, since that had to be reset with the 1.0 release. Um, we'll leave this one up here for now, but we'll come over here and see what we can do with this case over here. Okay, so we'll work on this. So as I work on this, I'll try to talk to you guys. So I wanted to make the subject of water cooling um, of this video. So before we get into too much detail, like why would you even want to water cool, do a custom water cool build? Um, Honestly, nowadays, I would say the coolness factor of it. I mean, it just looks cool. Um, the performance advantage is going to be very slight. I mean, nowadays we have all-in-one CPU coolers. We have hybrid GPUs. If your case can handle all that stuff, you can go that way. Going that way gets you the manufacturer warranty on your parts. So if something goes wrong, if something leaks, um, it's covered, within the warranty time. So I would highly recommend that. If you're looking for something to just tinker with a little bit more, you want to have the coolness factor of what that looks like, then I would definitely go ahead and say go the custom water cooling. But just as we kind of saw in our last build, it is super expensive. A radiator can cost you a couple $100. Your pump can be $100. Each fitting can be $7. Probably between 5 and 10 easy. Your CPU block, you can spend 100, 200 just on that. Your GPU block is going to be an extra $100 at least. And then for every single one of these blocks, radiators, pumps, you're going to need fittings. And so it adds up very quickly. I've done it. You can see some pictures if you go to my Twitter account. If you go, I think I did earlier, if you go look at my intro video to my channel, you can see some pictures of the custom water cooling that I had in my computer now. I don't have it now, and I'll explain why. After having it for several years, I was doing about every 6 months you should empty it out. You want to flush it, you want to put new coolant in. You don't want bacteria getting built up in it. That's a whole nother thing. You need to use, like, if you're using copper heat sinks, you need to use copper heat sinks through the whole thing. You don't want to mix copper with other metals. It can cause some issues. Okay, so I was doing a random cleaning where I'm just popping the tubes off, I'm draining out the liquid, putting some new stuff in, and right after that, I brought my computer back down, hooked it back up, and my radiator that was at the top of my Corsair 800D case sprang a leak, and I didn't realize what was going on. My computer had shut off on me in the middle of a game. And I turned it back on, and then it shut back off again. And I had one other issue that happened like that before with water cooling when I only had one pump. I was running a single pump, and the pump went out on me, and I didn't realize it was attached, kind of like I mentioned in last video, it was attached to the radiator, and it was at the top of the case. and I didn't know it went out on me. So I'm at that point before it was my CPU overheating and it automatically shutting down. It didn't ruin my CPU. Everything was fine. But I had to send the whole radiator and pump back to the manufacturer and get a new one sent to me. Um, a new combo piece, and at that point I made a decision that I was going to run a dual pump. It was super hard to fill, as I mentioned. Getting that pump primed, getting everything going made it very difficult. So I decided to order a second pump, which I had sitting towards the bottom of my case, as I suggested in last video, and that gave me a redundant pump. So if one of them went out, the other one still worked, and it allowed me that safe feeling. If something were to happen again, it wasn't going to overheat. So this next time that it happened, I kind of originally thought that too. So I opened up my case, was looking. I had a reservoir with a little spinning dial, so you could see that everything was still pumping, and it was. And then I looked on top of my GPU, and I saw some liquid. And then I looked up on my RAM and saw some more there. And I feel like, at this point, I just shut everything down, and I was praying that nothing was broken. I had just spent probably $800 at the time, during the whole Bitcoin blowing up, on a GTX 1080 Ti. I spent the extra $100 and something for the water block. I had put that all together myself. Had it in there, and sure enough, my new GPU was ruined by a hole in the radiator where the fans were screwing into the radiator mount. Something that they've done recently, I noticed. I went into a micro center. They have put like a metal cover where the screws. So you have the radiator. It'll be easy to show you. 1 second. Sorry about that, folks. All right, so this was my radiator right here, and this here was the pump that was integrated into the radiator. This is like a built-in reservoir here, and you have these little screw holes. Let me see if you can see those. Yeah, so right up here, little screw holes. And so if you look behind the screw holes here, the pipes for the radiator that the water runs through runs right under the screw. And so I had fans mounted here. I had screws screwed in, and I mind you, I had not touched the fans and the screws for years. They had never been touched. I'd almost never pulled out. Never touched it. I did, I think, take out one side of it. The other side was left alone. And those screws hadn't been touched. But the screw ended up breaking a hole in one of these tubes where the water ran through. And I didn't know, and it just leaked everywhere. So when you do this, you're taking your chance at that, and unfortunately, it didn't work out for me. So I was able to get a new graphics card, thankfully, and so at that point I decided, instead of buying a new radiator, I would go ahead and buy an all-in-one CPU cooler. I do miss the water cooling a little bit. Now, for a practical purpose of water cooling your system, it allows you to push everything just a little further. On air, the temperatures that you're needing to watch for on your CPU, on your GPU, it can get there quick. And when it heats up, it can take a little bit of time to cool down. Not a lot, but a little bit. On water cooling, the second that your CPU is off load, or the second that your GPU has no load, the heat is taken away almost immediately, and the temperature just drops very quickly back down. It allows you, when you're overclocking your CPU and GPU, you can push the frequencies a little higher, and you can also raise the voltages a little higher than you normally would on air cooling. As you raise the voltages to push the frequencies further, that is going to raise the heat. Okay, so it is a better cooling, and I do recommend it, but you need to be careful. And even with all-in-one water coolers, those can leak as well. So you're taking a chance, but you get a warranty when you do it that way. So sorry, enough ranting. Let's go ahead and look a little bit more here. I'm gonna go ahead and stick, like I said, I'm an Intel guy, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and stick with an Intel build here. Let's go. Ooh, formula. Oh, nice. Maybe we can even run the water cooling through the motherboard here. This would make it a really complex. So I had a Maximus board, Asus Maximus, and I don't know why. Every time I build a PC, I'm like, hey, I don't have to go all out here. I can get something a little more practical. And then I'm like, well, if I'm gonna build it, why not save the money, go all out? So, but I swear, next time I build, I think I'll probably go for one of these formula boards. Or I'll definitely go back to EVGA like I did back in the day, because their boards back in the day were wonderful. And I'm sure EVGA, if you're watching this, I'm sure you guys are now, but I haven't had one in a while. I'll be honest with you. Your BIOSes, when we went to the UEFI BIOSes, they kind of lagged behind ASUS for a while. I think you guys are caught back up. You guys, seem to be doing a really nice job now. But for a while, and this was a while ago, we had issues. So I see we have the new 9900K. Ooh, look at this, the 80. Ooh, oh, that's nice right there. The little special edition CPU. So we're gonna go ahead and put a 9900K in here, because again, that would be my choice. Hey, Space Monkey, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Alright, so let's pick out some RAM here. What do you think? Some red and black, huh? That look good. G-Skill 2400, that's what my DDR3 is. DDR. Try and see. Ooh, these look nice. No? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, these look nice right here. Trident C RGB, man. These things are pretty. If you've ever seen these in person, you know what I'm talking about. These things are very, very pretty. If you have the chance and you haven't seen these, check them out. I've thought about doing some RGB fans in my actual computer, but I can't seem to spend like $30 for a fan. I just can't do it. Especially since I have fans that work just fine right now. It'd be nice if they remember your selection here, so you don't have to roll back through this. Oh, I put the wrong thing in. I don't know if I did or not. Let's see. So I noticed I had this set to the internet radio last video, and when I popped back in here, it still had the internet radio going. And I'm not quite sure if I can put that on YouTube or not. I'm not sure. It might get taken down for some reason, Alright. So CPU cooling, we are going to go ahead and do as much custom water cooling as possible here. I had a gold Swift Tech, I think it's Apogee HD water block. It was like a limited edition thing. I had to like scour the internet. I found a place that had two of them. I ordered one, and I had a friend who was building a computer at the same time ordered the other one. And I mean, I tell you, it was nice. It was very nice. So let's see what kind of blocks they have, because we want to get something that goes this. So I just really quick, I did a search for like part lists for PC Building Simulator, and like they had them ranked, and they actually had the Vegas 64 ranked above the GTX 1080 Ti. Now you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that's very realistic. I don't think I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong, but correct me if I am, please. All right, so it looks like I'm gonna go with the 1080 Ti. I mean, I got to. So we got RGB block. I mean, why not? If we're gonna do it, why not just go all out? Oh, and I mean, let's be honest here. The graphics cards with the water block, I mean, they just look so sleek, so nice. And then when you get the clear box, you can see the water moving through everything. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. All right, so just with a couple parts here, we're already up to $4,500. I mean, we do have the extra water blocks here. Those are going to add up. This again is not going to be a very cheap computer here, that's for sure. All right, so let's check our radiators. Can we get a 3? Oh yeah, we can. All right, so we have to take something off here. Oh, in the back. These are the screws I'm talking about. So anyway, like I was saying, now though, they make these better. Now they make these better. They make them with plates. They make them with plates in here next to the fins underneath the screws, so that when you screw in, it hits a metal plate and it doesn't go all the way to the fins and the water pipes that run through these radiators. Typically, when you're getting a radiator, the thicker the better. The thicker, the more cooling that it's going to be able to provide, heat dissipation. But you're going to want to get fans that will penetrate through the fins, okay? So I think they call those like a static airflow. So you have two. When you go to buy a fan, you have like two. You have fans that will just, you know, push air, move lots of air. They might be moving it powerful. Like, so if you wanted to sit in front of a fan because you were hot, like that's the type of fan you want, something that moves a lot of air. But then they have static fans that are made with a different fin shape on the fans and different number of fins, and it's really to push air through something, and that's what you want when you have radiators like this, okay? Just a little bit of tidbit of information for you, if you didn't know that. We're gonna go ahead and put our reservoir in. So this is a RG. Okay. Oh, I think this thing's gonna look pretty here. Another thing, if you're actually building a custom water cooling loop, you want to plan out your entire build on paper before you buy anything. I literally went out and found a picture of my Corsair 800D case on the internet, and I like drew in on the computer like where my motherboard, where my CPU is. Here's the RAM. Here's going to be my graphics cards. Here's where I'm going to have my radiator. Here's where I'm going to have the reservoir, like all that stuff. And then you have to think about how you're going to run the tubing. So normally you're going to want it cooled Then you're gonna want it ran to the CPU, because the CPU is what's gonna like really heat up. That's like gonna be your #1 priority, cooling that. Then you can run it down to your graphics cards if you're running one loop. You could also choose to do multiple loops. So you could do 2 separate loops with like 2 separate pumps, different radiators, and so you can run your CPU independently on one, and you can run the graphics cards on another. So that would always be an option as well. Um, it's stuff to think about. You have extra pumps, you have extra fans when you do this, so you're gonna want to, you know, make sure your power supply is something that can handle those sort of things. I still, as far as the game goes, I would still like to see maybe a little bit more sorting in the menus here. And I really like this. I really like this game as far as for a prospect of like building in new cases. I mean, like this really lets you, like, if this had a case you were looking at, parts you could like, I mean, like you could really look at this thing and do a full build and see exactly what it looks like. I think that's amazing. This game has lots of cool features for nerds like me, okay? Like you too, if you're watching this video, no offense, we might be nerds together, okay? I'm sorry, don't be mad at me, don't be mad at me. See, I'm not used to throwing an M.2 drive in, as you guys can tell from any of the videos that you might have watched. I don't have one on mine, because this would be what you would do before you put graphics cards and stuff, and you'd get this M.2 in there. So I noticed we have transfer speeds here. You can look at. I don't know how much of the difference it's actually make when we go to actually put this together and benchmark it. But for sake, let's take the fast. So I think 2700 looks to be about the fastest I can find. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put a 480 gig in here. I'm assuming this should have alright, let's go ahead. Maybe this one I'm actually gonna have to do it the old school way. I would think this thing would still have an M.2 drive somewhere. If you're watching and you know where it's at, let me know. Oh, right here. There we go. Knew it. There we go. Uh-huh. Alright, graphics cards. Oh, so you just pick out your graphics card here, yeah. Alright, pro tip for people doing this sort of install. If you want secondhand market value of selling your card, you're going to want to order the air-cooled version of your card, and you're going to want to order the water block separately. A lot of companies, you can buy the water block already on the GPU, which if you're scared to do it, go that way. My GTX 680s I had the water. I bought the EVGA ones, hydro coppers. Okay, so they came with the water block on it. In this, but when you go to sell them, no one wants to buy, like on eBay or wherever you're selling them. No one wants to buy. Very few people want to buy a old water cooling card. People who are doing water cooling, when a new thing comes out, most of those people are going to upgrade then, okay? And so the longer you have your equipment, it's not going to cater to those sort of people anymore. You know, people who are going to want to buy it, they're going to want the air cooler. So for secondhand resale market, I would go ahead and buy the air-cooled version, get your water block. You can always piece them out and sell them later. Someone that already has water cooling might be interested in the water block, okay? or if they have an issue with their water block, they might buy that at that point. So something to think about. Alright, so we have a hard drive, we have our RAM, we have our CPU, we have our graphics card, we have our power supply. We're just kind of going through all this stuff, right? So we're doing pretty well here. We're gonna go ahead and start putting in some, let's start doing some connectors here, some fittings. Alright, let's do some red fittings here. Oh, we're actually gonna do the fittings. Okay, here. See, I'm just getting used to this. Okay, so let's see what the flexible one looks like this time, huh? Copper rigid. All right, let's look at the flexible one. We're going red fittings, we don't want to do that. Let's just go clear. Alright. Alright, so you'd want to look at ins and outs. Right here you have on a pump, you have an out and an in, right? So we're gonna want to have this leave here. And we'll have it come over to here. Okay, we'll have it come out the radiator. And we're gonna have it go to the CPU. We're gonna have it come out, go to our GPU. Okay. Now this would be blocked off. You can switch these when you actually have a graphics card. You can take this piece off and you could put it on the other side. So it's gonna be clamped on one side. You got the tube coming in, and you want to hook it up on the extra side. So it's gonna come out of here and it's gonna go straight down into the GPU like that. I see that they have a little funky thing going on here. So maybe they have a fitting for that. Let's try. Connectors. Let's do a black connector here. Oh, here. Let's remove this. And you can find hard tubing to go through here. Alright, for the sake of this, we're gonna make this look like it's rigid here. I told you that the stuff was serious. Whole thing cool with external water system. If there were better choices, yo, I must have missed them. Fill the case up with LEDs. Something. There we go. Oh, they still make it look funny. All right. Now, this would end up coming out of this side over here. Normally the directional doesn't really matter so much in graphics cards, so I mean ideally this is what I would have done. I would have, let's just take this out. I would have come out of here, went here, came here to here, then come out and go in here. So basically is what this does. So here's what our finish. Oh, we never did the motherboard. Let's see if we can do that. Oh, they don't let you. Here, can we move? Alright, so they don't, it looks like they don't actually allow you. So on this motherboard, this is a really cool thing for this motherboard. Can I? No, okay. So right here and up here, these are actually things that you can unscrew. You can put in an actual fitting, and you can run water to cool your power, your VRM, on your CPU. So that's what makes this thing cool. So I did all that nothingness for no reason, I guess. Okay. You would not want bends like this actually in your tubing. They make spiral things that go on the outside of the tubing to keep it from bending like that if that actually was an issue that you had going on in a real build. Okay, so now we need to do some cabling here. Let's pick our cables. I like our red and black. We kind of have some red and black going on. Bam, right there. Let's do it. I normally, when I'm building a PC, I will spend a couple hours, or not a couple hours, an hour doing the cabling. I run everything that's possible behind the motherboard and out of the way. Like, I would clean this up. This I would run through this hole back here. It'd be nice if they actually let you, like this looks nice back here, but I would want my front looking like that. Alright, so, ooh, tell me that didn't look nice, huh? Alright, so we need to install some coolant. So this has red flakes in it. I mean, look at this deal. We did this for $5,800. What a deal. Just let us change this. Let's do... empty reservoir. Nice. Alright, so as I mentioned on our last video as well, here we're going to do this red. There you go. That's it right there. Alright, so hardline would have looked probably better, and that's true in real life too. So normally if you were doing this in real life and you were needing to fill up and prime your pump and fill up your loop, you're gonna take the motherboard power out, and on the connector you're gonna short 2 wires. So you can unbend a paper clip and you can stick it in 2 holes. You're gonna need to look online how to do that. You can find pictures of it. I don't know off the top of my head which 2 it is, and to explain it, when you got a 24 pin connector, you know, I don't know off the top of my head like pin whatever number and how you would count those and how to explain that to you. So you would pull this out, you would leave that out of the motherboard. You could leave all the power off of all your components. So you don't need to have your power for your GPU in, you don't need to have your power for your CPU in. All you would need is your pump powered, and you would use the you need to be able to short it so you don't have to turn on your parts. Basically, it'd leave the rest of your computer off and only your pump would turn on, okay? And you would want to fill up your reservoir all the way up, turn it on, okay? It's going to drain and empty, and then you need to either be ready to fill it up as you go, or you need to turn it off after your reservoir is empty, fill up your reservoir again, and turn it back on. And you keep doing that until it's out. Then, after you get it running like this, I put paper towels out. I let it run for like 24 hours, or at least overnight. And I would also move around. You want to get all the air bubbles out that you can get, and you'll notice when the air bubbles out, because your reservoir will actually be lower. So like if you went to bed full, you woke up the next day and it was down to 3/4, that means that some air bubbles got out, more liquid filled in that spaces in the water blocks and things like that, and then you would just come up and refill it basically, okay? So let's put on our panels. Oh, I mean, that looks pretty tight. Looks pretty tight right there. Oh, no, not what I want. All right, put on our back panel. So I can tell you right now, this is a pretty cool case for looking, but the dust that would accumulate in here would be pretty crazy. So pretty cool. I'd probably come back and spiffy this up, make it look a little sharper with hardline water cooling, but we're going to turn that off here. Let's go ahead and boot this up. Power this on. Alright, so we have a 9900K, we have it running at 5 gigahertz, we have 32 gigs of RAM. Let's go ahead and come in here and turn on our XMP profile. You can do manual overclocking of RAM and mess with, like, you would have timings and all sorts of stuff to check out, but this isn't really so much of an overclock build right now. We'll just leave that processor set how it is there. Okay, apply changes and restart. Alright, so we're going to add some programs. System info. Let me check, see what kind of lighting we can do. GPU tuner. This overclock tester. This wallpaper thing was pretty cool. Alright, we'll leave it at that. I think it's really cool how they have my own water wallpaper there. Little Dubai action, huh? Man-made island in Dubai. Might as well. All right. Let's see what we get here on direct marks. 3D mark time spy extreme. Hey, while this runs, I seriously want to thank everyone out there who has been watching the videos, who has been subscribing to the channel. It means a lot to me. I've been surprised having 2 videos. For me, it's a lot. Getting, you know, almost over like 2,500 views, and I mean, people from all over the world are watching the video. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it. 2 videos in particular on the channel, all related to this game, are growing pretty quick to me. So thank you guys very much. Appreciate it. If you're watching now and you like the videos, please like and subscribe below. Check out the other content. If you guys want to see something, let me know. Let me know in the comments, and I'll certainly do a video for you guys. I know there's some subscribers out there who want to see a little bit of my horrible Fortnite play, and some things like that. And I'm gonna have some Apex Legends probably coming out. I've only played a few games myself, so I'm not super great at it yet, but I'll practice. I'll practice for you guys. Okay, we'll get it down. Wouldn't mind starting like a car channel, but I have no cool cars to show you. Sorry. One day. Those are dreams. So we had 15,000 what? It actually says right over here, right? So we had 15,284 right now on this. So if we go to our GPU tuner, our we can turn up the voltage. I don't know what it will allow us to do here. So like I said, I have a 1080 Ti. I had a pretty quickly clocked one too. Let's try 100. Can I just push it in here? No, of course not. That'd be too easy. Why let them do that? Let's do 50. Here, let's drop this down to 75. And we'll keep that at 50. We'll apply that. Minimize that. We'll do a GPU overclock. So overclocking, you want to get programs to do that, and when you test these, you want to test them for some time, especially your CPU overclock. That'd be something you'd want to do overnight, if not 24 hours, if you want something that's going to be really stable. And there's lots of programs out there nowadays. Some of these synthetic programs that you would run are actually not very lifelike, not very realistic. They will overheat faster, but if it's good enough for that for 24 hours, you probably have no issue at all, you know, playing on day-to-day usage. So in reality, you would see GPU temps that are a lot lower than air-cooled cards right now, and you miss out on all the noise of the GPU fans that kick up, especially if you have the old-school blowers. If you ever had a GPU like that, you know what I'm talking about. It is extremely loud. Sounds like there's a jet taking off in your house. Alright, so it looks like we were cool here with these overclocks there. Let's go see what we can do with the CPU. We'll get a quick CPU overclock here. Maybe we'll shoot for like 5.2. Alright, so we're just gonna bump up the ratio here. We're gonna leave the base clock at 100. We're gonna bump up the ratio to 52. We're gonna go ahead and give another 0.05 volts on the voltage. Republica Gamers, nice. Alright, so we'll go back into our overclocking. We're gonna do a CPU overclock test here, so it's monitoring. So here's our, okay. So again, we know that this means, I wonder if I can just hit P from in here. Before we turn this down, we're gonna go ahead and hit the volts up a little bit. I don't think you'd want to do 1.5 here, but I mean, we could try it anyway, right? Alright, yep. There we go. We don't even have to go back out. Let's try it anyway. Let's go 1.5. Yeah, F10. They should make F10 work here. Overall, I gotta say you guys are doing a great job with the game. Since the last I was playing it, it is better. Look at the power draw on our CPU overclocking. Alright, so far so good, right? We gave it a little more voltage. It's doing nice. 9.3. I bet that'd be pretty close to throttling, but it looks like we're gonna keep it under it. Test done. We're monitoring. Wait, starting. Finished. Alright, so we're good. We got voltage up to 300 and something watts just on the CPU. That's why you're gonna want a nice CPU. Okay, so we have a nice little GPU overclock. We have a nice little CPU overclock. Let's see how much of an improvement we get in our Time Spy Extreme. One hundred 10 frames there. I wonder if, do they have monitor partners yet? I want to get myself an ultra wide for in the game. Alright, 16,035. It's up a little bit. We can play with this a little bit more later. Let's check out our lighting here. Ooh, we got a lot of options. I mean, that red looks so good though, doesn't it? Alright. Oh yeah. So we got some black and some red. Kind of echoed the cabling. Come over here. Let's go the other way. No! I turned it off. Oh well. So anyway, that was cool. I'll just show my son this tomorrow, see what he thinks. So we have this $5,800 CPU here, and we have this $8,900 CPU over here. Which one would you guys take, huh? I'll be honest. I mean, 220 Ti's. I might have to take the other one. But I think I kind of want. Ooh, I don't know. You got that. And this. I gotta say this one looks better. I think this one looks better. Don't hate on me. Don't hate on me. Alright. So on that note, I'm gonna let you guys go. Again, thank everyone. thank everyone so much for watching the videos, for commenting on them. I've got some likes on the videos, for subscribing to the channel. I appreciate it. If you have any friends out there that you think might enjoy these videos, please tell them about our channel. Share our channel with them, and let us know what kind of content you guys want to see, because this is all about sharing like my love of computers and playing games with you guys. And so I'd love to interact more with the audience out there if you have me, okay? On that note, guys, have a good night. Take care, and we will catch you later. Peace out.